welcome to Blackbriar Gaming. Today I'm keen to chat lore, specifically the lore that GW has been treating us to over the last month or so. Along with the Horus Heresy miniature reveals, GW has also been dropping lore articles each week to bring those that aren't diehard heresy fanatics up to speed with what Horus and his heretical gang has been up to. But if you're confused with the latest article and what happened to the mid-heresy, well, you're not the only one. Just a quick note before we get into it. As we're a new channel, a subscribe and a like really helps us reach a bigger audience. So if you enjoy the video, please hit those buttons down below. So, lore articles. Let's take a look at what we've gotten so far. We started with an article on Ulanor to introduce our characters, which is fair. This game isn't called The Great Crusade, but also give me that game. I'm super into it. So we've got Horus, we've got him taking over as War Master, and the other Primarchs being a bit angsty about it. Up next, the next article was Davin. Makes sense, Horus falls, that's a thing. Tracking well, moving swiftly along. In the next article, we have our first moment. Istvan 3 gets mentioned only as the reason for Dawn sending vengeance to Istvan 5. Istvan 3 is still quintessential heresy to so many players, but barely worth a mention with GW's new heresy focus. Interesting. So Istvan 5 gets a decent look in at least in the third article. We're currently at year 6 of the 31st millennium. This civil war is just kicking off with plenty of battles to come. Tracking a bit bumpy with the overlook of Istvan 3, but we're doing okay. But wait, what's this? The next article then jumps to Battle of Pluto and starting moments of the Siege of Terra. Okay. Alpha Legion's attack, this is the Battle of Pluto. Alpha Legion's attack on the fortress moon of Hydra occurred year 10 of the 31st millennium, 4 years after Istvan 5 and a whole bunch of brutal marine mayhem later. And let's be honest, this conflict, the Battle of Pluto, is really just a skirmish compared to what else is going on out in the galaxy. They've only included it because it flows nicely, well, at a stretch, I guess, flows into more action within the solar system, which then, in the next sentence, they move 4 years forward to the invasion of said solar system with one sentence, just one, that reads, "After years of bloody struggle and desperate preparation, the War Master's attack began." What? Okay. So in, 4 articles, we've covered the entirety of the heresy up to the invasion of the solar system, skipping over pretty much the entirety of the mid-heresy era. So, GW has 2 options here. They either jump back and cover some of the other mid-heresy lore, or they continue to tell the story of the Siege of Terra. The last article finishes with the sentence, "And all that remained was the assault on Horus's ultimate prize, the Imperial Palace." So, yeah, I don't think we're rewinding to cover the intricacy of the Shadow Crusade or treat us with a detailed account of the Battle of Talan. I think they've gone straight to the Siege of Terra, and I think they've done it for a reason. So, the question is, why has GW skipped over pretty much 8 years of bitter heresy conflict? I don't think this is just a case of brevity and the limited article time they have. I think it's a move to prioritize and stage where Heresy 2.0 will be focused. I'm pretty sure Heresy 2.0 will be chiefly focused towards late-era heresy conflict and the Siege of Terra. Now, why do I think this? 3 reasons. Reason number 1. Early and mid-heresy has been done by Forge World in intense detail. The Black Books are truly pieces of art and crammed packed with all kind of lore, art, and beautiful rules. They simply don't need to be redone, and doing so opens GW up to comparisons, inconsistencies, and mistakes. Similarly, the miniature line for the Legions during this time already exists. It's done. It's been done to death. GW really needs an excuse to develop the range further, and the Siege of Terra, with all the chaotic stuff going on, gives them the narrative justification they need. It makes good business sense. Reason number 2. The Horus Heresy novels are deep within the Siege of Terra at the moment, with the latest novel being Warhawk, which sees the Khan take on a demonically altered Mortarion. Great book, can recommend. GW is going to want to leverage the interest in and focus on their novel series for this new release. Product coordination is a thing, and GW are getting better at it. Reason number 3. Our main protagonists, the Sons of Horus and the Imperial Fists, in the new box set, point squarely at the Siege of Terra timeline. From my understanding, and I could be wrong here, please let me know in the comments if I am, the first time these legions come into any kind of serious conflict is Beta Garmin, which is of course just a skip and a warp jump prior to the Siege of Terra. So my point is this. If you're a die-hard Isfan fan, and I know there are a legion of you out there, you need to temper your expectations. While the new game will certainly support your early and mid-Heresy gaming preferences, future Legion-specific releases, once the plastic baseline has been established, will likely focus on late Heresy units. I'm talking about Death Guard, crafted by Nurgle, Sons of Horus hosting demons within them, and Thousand Suns flying around on discs. Classic Siege of Terra stuff, but not appropriate for early and mid-Heresy. Personally, I'm pretty excited for this, and this new phase of the Heresy, this late phase, but I could see why others may wish for earlier and simpler times to fight their battles within. There's certainly a range of legions, mostly loyalists, that have very little to do with the Siege of Terra. So it'll be interesting to see how GW handles any potential campaign-style releases, and I'm assuming they're going to have to move around within the timeline to focus in on those legions that weren't fighting on Terra. And that brings us to the end of our Heresy chats for today. Thank you so much for listening. Take some breaths, let the bad vibes roll out, and those late Heresy era vibes roll in, filling you with an urge to protect or destroy the Imperial Palace. Make sure to keep rolling those dice and getting hyped for Heresy.